Hello there, Green Knight here. Welcome back. This is the second vlog that I do. My shoulder is still busted, so for the time being, my text blog posts will be moved over to this video or vlogs. Yeah, so Steel Strategy has been updated with all the pods, and by pods, I'm talking about World Cup initial starting groups. So there are a lot of them, 18 all told, I think. And my pod is this pod Tarkin, which is in the Eurozone, where I am with Garrett, beginner to winner, and Callum. And this video is about their lists, and my previous video was about my lists, so now it's time to look at their list. So you can go here and look for yourself, but to make it a bit more visual, I've copied their lists into the list builder. So first up is Garrett, and he's playing Empire, Moff Gerard, or Jerry, because it's really hard to pronounce this name, and 396 points, so he has a 4-point bid, so he has the choice because my list is at 400. The other lists are beginner to winner, Agata at 399, so he can also choose, and Callum with Kraken is also 399. So I have no say if I'm first player or second player, but like we discussed in my previous video, I don't care. My objectives are really good for me as second player, and my list loves being first player. So it has absolutely, it's okay. I can do either. So they can decide, but it doesn't matter. So let's look at Garrett, which is Garrett, I think, in the Discord without the O. So this is a Jerry list, and it has a total of 5 activations. And that's 2 Gozanti, cruisers, of course, a Raider 1, and curiously a Raider 2, and the Quasar. And of course, the Quasar 1. And then he has a whole bunch of heavy hitting Imperial squadrons. So, um, it's a squad heavy list. That's pretty obvious. 133 points. So its main killing power comes from squadrons. Although most squadron heavy lists have some form of ship killing capability in their ships as well, because usually lists works better if there is some form of synergy. But this list does not appear to have. Well, the ships can shoot. All 5 ships can shoot, so it's not that they can't kill anything. But if you look at its 2 Gozanti, not exactly ship killers, a raider with Corvus and no upgrades other than discardable Hondo. But note that he has Darth Vader, so he could, in theory, if he doesn't need this, he can keep it. If he really needs to reroll and it's late in the game, he could even sacrifice Gerard. But there isn't, apart from a pretty good battery armament, a lot of stuff. No X-Rex, no Ordnance Expert, nothing. So this is a lifeboat slash sweeper kind of ships. These are support ships. And it looks like the fleet has to be flown in something of a formation to be effective and also to protect the Quasar. The Raider 2 Callus Impetuous is something I've played before myself, so I have a bit of respect for that one. And of course, all 4 squads in my list are aces, so if he gets them in his sights, he gets the extra die. So that's a good call on his side. And Ordnance Experts is 2 black. that can be re-rolled, and with Callus, that can quickly be one blue, one black, or one blue, two black at close range. And that is pretty scary. And with Impetuous, you can just knock out a single squad. Uh, there is decaps here as well, which is it's not bad. It can let him throw something on a distance at long range, I mean. But usually when you see the Raider 2 like this with decaps, there is some form of iron upgrade or some rerolls for that iron upgrade. It's nothing of the sort there. The Quasar is standard. It has the disposable capacitors as well. And again, that's something I've used with some moderate success in the past, because, I mean, it's not bad to be, say, double arcing something and throwing 5 blue dice at it at long range. That can be a good finishing touch late in the game, or it could be a good opening, or just throwing 3 blues at something that you are attacking with your squads and maybe one of the raiders during a round. That's solid. But that said, it's for a list that has 5 ships and 2 raiders. There is very little ship-to-ship firepower, so all the heavy lifting has to be done by the squadrons. And the squadrons are a fearsome group indeed. Mark Jenden, of course, Reimer to give extra range, Mauler, well, does Mauler things, and also 2 fire sprays, of course, throwing out 4 blue bomber dice at close range isn't anything to scoff at. Tempest's also pretty good, offers a little bit of escort. Saber can be really good with Jenden if the need arises. So, and the Quasar has Squall, so there's plenty of repositioning abilities for Jenden, Mauler, Reimer, the fire sprays. Even Saber can be thrown forward, and then it can snipe, and then it can retreat. That's a tactic I've used many times. It's pretty neat. Normally, I would say that the lack of ship-to-ship firepower and the fact that this squadron blob isn't particularly good in the anti-squadron role. It's not bad. It has a Quasar, but let's be honest, if this runs into a dedicated Sloan list or a good rebel list with maximum squads, they will get tar pitted and destroyed most of the time, skill being relatively equal. And there is this raider with Callus, and it can provide some much needed flak support, but none of the other ships really contribute much to the squadron fight. There is no ruthless strategist, there's no flechettes, there is no. Yeah. So I wouldn't be too confident with this squadron group going into the Swiss round, where you might meet a bunch of squadron heavy lists. But against my list, which has a medium screen of Marek, Jenden, Mauler, and Valen Rudor, that's another story. They will completely dominate me there, so the only thing I can do is play defensively and try to delay them and minimize damage to my ship. So against me, this is a pretty good and pretty fearsome group, and even if I play cagey with my squadrons, I expect to see them hitting my ships from mid to late games. I have to account for that. So hopefully he won't be able to bring enough firepower from his squads, combined with his relatively weak ship-to-ship firepower. I hope that won't be enough to take out any of my big guys. We'll see. And well, yeah. And the other way around, I have my Onager, I have my ISD, but he has 5 slippery ships. Even the Quasar is relatively fast, and with Gerard, the Quasar can slip away or get into places it normally don't. And Well, Gozantis I can always pick off at long range as long as I can lock down the scatter, but that's no guarantee. Raiders are not easy to one-shot with onagers because, well, they have the double evade, so they can discard to cancel a bunch of dice, and they have the brace. So even if I get the accuracy, lock down the brace, they can shed a lot of damage with an evade, probably enough not to be one-shot, and then they are out of arc forever. The Quasar is the most yeah, it's the weakest against the onager, so he will have to be careful about it. But it can be done. It's pretty fast, and like I said, with Jerry, it can get it out of situations or into strange places where it normally wouldn't. So yeah, one thing here, Vector is a good addition for the fire sprays. Bomber Command Center, it's of course a good card to have, but I'm not sure these throw double blues. He has double blue, plus he can set the crit. So I don't know if I would have bothered with the Bomber Command Center in this list. But I guess if you had 8 points, then it's a fair investment, but it's not essential. Yeah, it's insurance if you blank or this guy blanks. I mean, it can happen that these guys roll unwanted accuracy, so it helps a little bit, but it's not the kind of list where you really, 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 really need the Bomber Command Center. So, but I'm not sure what else I would use those 8 points. It's maxed out on squadrons, and there isn't a lot of things there he could do. So it's all in all a fair list that I think will give me problems because I will have problem pinning his ships down and killing them from afar, which is kind of my thing. And he has a squadron group that's actually kind of good against me. Yeah. He has the choice between first and second player. I don't know his objectives. They are probably hard for me, but well, I guess he could have something strange like opening salvo because he has disposable capacitors, but I kind of doubt it. I'm guessing most wanted or surprise attack. I think I would have gone for most wanted. Defense, yeah, it could be something like fighter ambush. Some people think that's really strong, and it could cause problems for me. But it could also be something like contested outpost, I guess. But that's not good for a list that wants to stay on the move. So there's always abandoned mining facility or asteroid tactics, planetary ion cannon. It's not easy to predict. Let's uh, let's pretend asteroid tactics. Um, yeah, this is, I guess, a list that could take infested fields, but it might as well take superior positions. I'm guessing superior positions. It could also have precision strike. It could go, I mean, precision strike, fight, ambush, superior positions. It's a list that could try doing that. Not sure I would have been comfortable with running that trio, but yeah, it's not bad. If he has this trio, then he can seriously consider going second against me because all three will definitely cause me some serious headaches. If he takes first, I don't know what he will take. I have most wanted asteroids, infested fields. I mean, he probably would want to avoid the slugs. But on the other hand, taking most wanted might expose one of his frail ships for extra firepower, and he probably doesn't want that. So, so maybe it will have to be either asteroids or infested. And often asteroids is chosen because infested is perceived as a bit stronger, and yeah, maybe it is. But asteroid still has the slugs, and it gives me full setup of rocks, and I can heal up my brace and whatever. So We'll just have to wait and see. New list and new haircut. Yeah, nice. Yes. Next up is beginner to winner or B2W, and he's gone Rebel, and he's running Agata, which is probably the best Rebel commander at the moment, or one of the best. There are other ways to play Rebels as well, but her ability to go ECM-less ECM give you an extra defense token that's pretty strong on any flagship, and the rest of the fleet can sort of fend for itself. So she has an assault cruiser, and she's packing expert shield tech. So with double redirects, double brace, that's definitely solid. Engine tech is a must on the home one. ECM, because you don't always want to discard. When you can avoid discarding, that's of course the best option. So on this assault cruiser, it makes a lot of sense to have her. And reactive gunnery with 5 tokens, there's a good chance you can get reactive gunnery to trigger. Link turbo laser tower is also more or less a given on a ship that wants to use reactive gunnery in this way. But no other weapons team, of course, because it doesn't have the slots, and well, there is no Defiance or anything. I know that Defiance doesn't work with Link Turbo Laser Towers, but it works with your normal attacks, and it's generally a very strong upgrade. I mean, the Assault Cruiser isn't a bad ship, but it has firepower on the approximately the level of a Victory class Star Destroyer. But with Agata, it's of course much tougher. So there is that. So it's a pretty tanky build, but its damage output isn't that high, which is why, of course, the list relies on intensify firepower, which is hands down the best of the fleet commands. It is so much better than, say, shoots to maximum that they don't even. It's hard to imagine that they exist in the same game. Ashoka, of course, to quickly flip those command tokens into concentrate fire on the pelt or otherwise, because there is only one medium transport with parts resupply. Um, did I miss that one? No, it's parts resupply. Okay, not munitions. I was thinking, why not munitions, and then you could sort of transform if you needed something else, but okay. She can also sort of flip up a navigate token for engine techs or whatever. I don't get the parts resupply. I would have taken munitions resupply in this list, but it's a minor point. So no CompsNet, just the parts resupply. So to get concentrated fire tokens for intensify firepower, yes, it is intensify firepower. It needs to convert using Ashoka, or of course Hondo can be used for sort of 1 round, and it can be discarded 1 round. So chances are you won't be needing it for all 6 rounds anyway. Maybe just 3 rounds. Yeah. So the Pelta has decaps, so it's got a fairly good punch at long range. On the turn, it triggers decaps with an intensify. Same with the hammerheads. Of course, if they take, they only get 1 shot, but they were going to get 1 shot anyway. So it's one of the few ships where slave turrets actually make any sense. So it's 3 reds at long range, possibly with concentrate fire, and of course intensify firepower. So this trio here sort of advancing as a block with the assault cruiser coming around on the flank there. It's a lot of firepower going out. Lots of decently sized attacks, not huge dice pools, but decent, and you get that effect where you stress the defender's defense tokens if you can focus on one ship. Yeah, and the transport is nothing special, Hondo, of course, because it's super flexible and you have parts resupply here, and a Bright Hope is just too good not to take. And Sharatiko, I will have the upper hand, I guess, in the squadron fight, but he can hold these guys back and decide when he wants to counter, and should be able to sort of nullify my squadron advantage for most of the game, I think. So uh, I might have the upper hand, but on the other hand, he makes sure my squadrons don't really get to do that much damage. Cham, always solid. I guess he's well. It will be easier for him to get to the ISD because the ISD, for obvious reasons, will be screening the Onager. Um, I'm not too concerned about that because, okay, I can set my token stack. What's he gonna set it to? Probably just to squadron because that's my least desirable command. But then again, then I get a bunch of squadron commands to command my four squad, so I'm okay with that. It's not a huge deal, but yeah. This guy I'm not a huge fan of because you can get rid of weapons team, support team, offensive, defensive, retrofit, ordnance, iron, and trailblazer. So sure, he can get rid of an upgrade card at the cost of a 6-point upgrade card and a squadron token and only close range. And I don't have any single card in my list that I'm super dependent on. Also, we cannot get rid of titles. We cannot get rid of officers. So super weapons, that kind of thing. So it's kind of limited there. So I consider Chum the bigger threat here. Of course, they have to close to use this ability. So there is uh, there is that. So what kind of? I'm betting he has the most wanted for his red objective. Uh, he could have infested fields. He could have solo corona. He could have all sorts of shenanigans. Defense, I'm not so sure. Could have contested outpost. Doesn't matter. We'll see. But he gets to decide if he wants to go first or second. And this list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he might take first player, but then he has to eat my nasty objectives. He can give me first player and with obvious advantages for me there, but I think his list is good. He can play either first or second player against me. It won't be the deciding factor, so we'll just wait and see what he decides. Um, I'm optimistic regarding this matchup, but Agathe is always hard to take out, and the Pelta will be surprisingly tough at longer ranges with his trio of defense tokens, and hammerheads aren't that easy to kill either. So we'll see. So the final list is from Callum, who is playing Separatist. I hadn't expected to meet any Clone Wars factions. They are good for the first wave. I mean, compared to the core set and wave one from the Galactic Civil War, they are light years ahead. I'm no fan of wave 8, but Clone Wars design is spot on. Not broken or OP, just altogether good, very balanced. Yeah, you can play several different lists right out of the box, and that's an impressive feat. So you have Kraken, on a magnificent comms frigate. That's the one with 3 squadron. He got Rune Hako, which can steal tokens from either his own card or from other ships nearby, or distance 1 to 5. And we have the curious combination of medical team and tide of progress. This is one of the few combinations where medical team is actually any good, because between them they kill off any face-up card. So medical team is sort of have the backstop here. Tide of progress kills about 2/3 of the face-up cards because they are ship. Medical team takes care of the remaining 1/3, and of course Tide of Progress can be readied again. I think this is a good use of flag bridge. Flag bridge is the only way the Sepis can have fleet commands, and intensive firepower is just about good enough that it's worth it. 6 points for that one round, that sweet round of volley fire, and we can see why. Because the hard cell has a good front arc with 3 reds, and with an intensive firepower and a slow roll with quad battery turrets, that's a hell of a lot of dice coming in. 4 concentrate fire, 5 times 4, that could be 20 dice coming in. So let's not move fast enough. And of course, these guys are happy to slow roll, because then they have time to unload before you get in really close. And a little interceptor screen here with takes damage if it ends its activation. Stupid ability, model after Mittal. I don't know why they couldn't just fix the stupid broken squadrons in the game instead of sort of making new ones to make up for that. That is really shitty game design. It's one of the things I don't like about the game at this moment. It's squadrons, because there are still some aces that are just way too good for what they do, so they will be taken all the time now with the ace cap, and the only difference is that we'll see maybe some more generic fighters, mostly those with counter. And yeah, that's just bullshit. They should have worked through the entire stack of squadron cards and tweaked. At the very least, they should have tweaked prices. The only redeeming factor is that it's 19 points, so it's pretty expensive. On the other hand, it's like having Meta as an interceptor squadron. So because of AI, so 4 dice, black anti-ship, you get counter, you get swarm, and you get this bullshit about it. But okay, so I don't think squadrons will be a huge factor in this game. They will sort of balance each other out. So it would be my Onager and my ISD versus this. So with good maneuvering and skillful play, I think I have a chance, but so does the Callum. Yeah, it will probably be the usual mix of objectives. Could try an opening salvo. I don't know if it's feisty, maybe. Because these are just throwaways anyway, and he has the setup here to repair and shed some damage cards coming in. On the other hand, he doesn't have any crit generators. I don't know. So I guess we'll see. Basically, he has the choice, and I think his list is a list that would like to go second as much as it would like to go first. I mean, it's always nice to go first, but it doesn't have a single heavy hitter. So we could choose to go second, so that I would have to play his objectives, and that he could wait for me to approach him. So all in all, I think I have a shot at winning each of these games. I'm not saying that I will win all 3, but there aren't any fleets there that I think, oh, this is impossible to win. There also aren't any fleets that I will completely own this little seal. No. So it would be tight matches is my best guess. And I don't know. I haven't played these three guys a whole lot. Beginner to win. I played him. I played him. I'm not sure if I ever played the Callum. But these are names that they have been around for a while now, so they have probably played more Armada than I have lately. So I suppose we all count as fairly good players. Maybe. Well, I don't consider me a top tier player anymore. I'm not completely without skill, but it's been a while since I was almost up there. So it will be very exciting to see. I think maybe my first game will take place on Thursday, and I have another one planned for next Wednesday. I'm not sure about the last one, but we have like 3 weeks, so it'll be fun. Okay, that's the end of this video. Bye.